the question here is, she is dating a guy that she really, really likes a lot, but he's got a quota on how many times he wants to see her. Okay, a quota. Certain amount of time. It's a cap, really, more than anything else. So I got this in my DMs a couple of days ago. Bert, 4 months ago, I think I started dating your emotional spirit animal. Huh, she says. He, like you, wants to be engaged in a relationship that centers around two people, quote unquote, missing each other. Okay, so let me stop here for just 1 second and explain what she's talking about. So after I got out of, after my fiance and I broke up, you start to think about, like, what is it that you really want in your future? What works for you? Not are you trying to live into, what model are you trying to live into? But if you're being authentic with yourself, like, what works for you? And I've said that marriage doesn't scare me. Living together and seeing somebody scares me every single day. And I am starting to think about, like, not necessarily chasing excitement, or maybe it is, just how do you keep that spark alive over the course of years if you're seeing each other every single day? And that was just one of the questions I had, that maybe that's what I'm going to need going forward. I don't know. So she writes, I'm not even sure what that actually means about missing each other too much, but he's so serious about it that he refuses to see me during the week except for a few days. Is this a ditch situation, she asks. He only wants to see me max 3 days a week. And now all capital letters. 3 days a week! They can vary. It's not like it's I can only be with you Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. It's more like we have 3 days and no more. We text all day. We FaceTime. No, he doesn't have a family or a girlfriend. That's initially what I thought, too. Like, if a guy's saying that I only got 3 days for it, I'm thinking he's got a family on the side.
Got to make time for something else.
All right. He FaceTimes me from home, work, whatever, so she's 100% sure that there's no infidelity going on. This is just how he really feels, right? Anyway, this is the most bizarre thing I've ever been involved in. But he checks all the boxes, as you say. He's pretty much everything I want. And he says the same thing about me, but he wants to limit our time together. I'm confused. 1-855-BERTSHA.
If a guy this early on in the relationship said he wanted to cap how much he saw me, I would be ditching. Because this is the first 3-4 months. This should be when you are the most excited about someone, the time when you are the least sick of seeing someone on a consistent basis. So if you're trying to put a cap on it, for me, that feels like a red flag. And the fact that you're over communicating to me and telling me about it, it's one thing to have that little rule in your head, because I do think seeing someone 3 times a week is kind of a lot until you start to, like, develop a relationship with them. The fact that you're telling me that you don't want to see me, it's just kind of rubbing me the wrong way.
I don't think it's a red flag. It wouldn't be a red flag for me, but I think it could be a red flag for her, because this is one of those things where I think it comes down to what you want. Now, in my dating experiences, this would be perfect for me. Like, I've been this way my entire life. I am the person that wants to be in a relationship with you, but does not want to see you every day, all day. And I've had to find different ways to say that, because if you say it like this, 3 days a week is all I can see you, we have to cap it, it's probably not going to be received well. So I've had to kind of find other ways to say it, but it's always met with, you must be seeing someone else, or you must be doing things on the side. When in reality, no, I just genuinely like my own time and my own personal space. So I don't think it's a red flag unless she can't handle only seeing him 3 days a week.
Yeah, there are some people that just need more space than others. So while she wrote this, I would never verbalize that.
Yeah, you can't say it like that.
It sounds so clinical to me to say, I'm only going to see you 3 times a week. But I'm with you. 3 times a week sounds kind of... That sounds about right.
It feels reasonable, but the fact that you're telling me that I have a cap, like I have a punch card essentially of how many times I can see you, feels a little icky to me.
Yeah, you get those 3 punch cards and you get a foot long.
That's what he's saying. But it's not.
I mean, I remember when I first started dating my husband, we couldn't get enough of each other. And then I moved away, and then he ended up moving to be with me, and he was supposed to find his old place, but we ended up living together. Like Mo, 3 times a week works for him. That would not work for me. If in your heart, you know, and especially the way he's verbalizing it, because if this is how it is now, maybe or maybe not this is how it's going to be in the future, but I tend to lean like if he is that protective over his personal time, then his personal time is going to be very hard to get. So you have to figure out where his priorities lie. I do think you have to take care of yourself in relationships. You shouldn't rely on the other person to make you happy. So if you need some like self-time, then by all means. But I dated a person who had me very low on the priority list. And this is what it's feeling like to me. His personal time is more important than you. And maybe that's at this stage of the relationship, right? And I understand I think two things can be true at the same time. I think you can make somebody a priority while also like looking out for yourself. Like you should make yourself priority, but when you get into a committed relationship, that other person and their feelings should also be a priority. 3 days a week, that's not going to fly for me. And what with like the fourth day, oh, by the way, work is having a function and I need a date. And you're like, sorry, I already saw you 3 times a week. I can't go. Like
yeah, that's too clinical.
That's what it's screaming to me.
But what if this is just balance for him? It's not necessarily a priority thing because you're interpreting it like I'm not going to be his priority if he only wants to see me 3 times a week.
That's definitely my interpretation for sure.
But Mo, from somebody that wants space, would that necessarily mean that she's not a priority? Or is it just you expressing that you need some balance?
No, and that's why the way you communicate this is so important. Because in the way that I would mean it is I need the balance. Whether that comes when 1 week we see each other 4 times a week, 1 week we see each other 5. It doesn't matter. It's just so as long as I still have my individuality and my personal space, then I'm fine. But to make it to where, like y'all have said, like it's a punch card, and once we're at 3, it's like overtime if I give you more time. That's not exactly how I would mean it, and I don't think that's how he means it, but that's how he communicated it.
I get you need your downtime and you need your space, and I respect that. I need that too. Like, I've joked, like when I come home, if there's no car in the driveway and I know I get to walk into the house and it's just me, no kid, no husband. Yes, like I value those moments. But the fact that he wants 4 days to himself and only 3 days to her, if it's like advancing the relationship, that to me, that's not balanced.
Yes. Hey, Megan, good morning. You're on the Bert Show. You kind of did the same thing here?
Good morning. Absolutely. I dated a guy for about, I think it was 9 months total. And around month 6, I told him that I loved him. And he completely lost it, said that I was asking for too much. I was trying to move too quickly. I'm month 6. I don't feel like that's unreasonable. But whenever I asked him to see him more during the week, he completely shut me down. He said that it was too clingy. And at that point, we were seeing each other maybe once or twice a week. So I was too clingy because I loved him at month 6. And I wanted to see him more.
Yeah, that wouldn't go work.
It sounds like he's making excuses more than anything.
Totally.
The Bert Show.